Assalamu alaikum. This book is Statistical Methods by Shahid Jamal. From the chapter number 3, Testing of Hypothesis, topic is Contingency Table and the Test of Independence. A contingency table is defined as a two-way table. Okay. A contingency table is defined as a two-way table in which frequencies of various categories of two attributes or factors are classified in rows and columns. For example, a sample of employed persons may be classified according to educational attainment and the type of occupation. College students may be classified according to class status and smoking habits. A sample of adults may be classified according to sex and the color preferences for a product, etc. R denoted by number of rows and C number of columns is called an R into C contingency table. Okay, and this is a table where A and B is two attributes, and the O represented by observed frequencies, ith row and jth column. I and J represent numbers. Okay, R denoted by row and G grand total of all observed frequencies. A contingency table is usually constructed for the purpose of studying the relationship between two attributes. It indicates whether two characteristics are independent or dependent on one another. Note: it is important to note that the natural application of the contingency table analysis is for cases in which each observation is measured by two qualitative variables. However, quantitative variables may also be used to classify the observations into rows and columns or both. In other words, the classification in a table can be either qualitative or quantitative. So, in a summary, contingency table is a table that summarizes the frequencies of two categorical variables in rows and column, and the chi-square test of independence checks whether two categorical variables are associated or independent. Okay, so this is the formula where O is observed frequencies and I for expected frequencies. Okay. Here we have example 3.56. 1600 families were selected at random in a city to test the belief that high-income families usually send their children to private schools and low-income families often send their children to government schools. The following results were obtained. School, private, government, income, low and high. 494 from the low income families are going in a private and 506 in a government. And from the high income families, child are going in a private school 162, and 438 are going in a government school. So the total is 1,600. So 1,600 grand total. And test whether income or type of schools are independent at level of significance 0.05. So solution: H0, income and type of schools are independent. Alternative hypothesis, income and type of schools are not independent. Second step, level of significance 0.04, 0.05, and test statistics. There's a formula. Okay, chi-square is equals to summation of r, summation of c, and the whole bracket of observed frequencies minus expected frequencies whole square, and in a denominator expected frequency. Okay, so expected frequencies को आप कैसे मालूम करोगे? Raw into column, then denoted by grand frequencies. Okay, total, and then the degree of freedom. कैलकुलेशन है यहाँ पर O11 मीन्स ऑब्जर्व फ्रीक्वेंसीज आपके पास 494 है, 506 है, 162 है एंड 438 है. ओके, टेबल में हमारे पास ये ऑब्जर्व फ्रीक्वेंसीज हैं, ये एंड ये. ओके, दिस इज 11, दिस इज 12, दिस इज 21, दिस इज 22. ओके, यहाँ पर है आपके पास. देन E1 1. For this observed frequency, expected frequency को मालूम करने के लिए क्या करेंगे? R1 into C1 and then grand total. R1, this is R1 and this is C1. 1000 into 656. Then divided by 1600. आपके पास आंसर आ जाएगा 410. सेम एज इट इज आपने E11, E12 एंड E21 एंड E22 के साथ करना है. ठीक है, देन आपके पास ऑब्जर्व फ्रीक्वेंसीज हैं, एक्सपेक्टेड फ्रीक्वेंसीज हैं. ठीक है, आपने इनको सॉल्व करके यहाँ पे आंसर ले लेना है 77.78. Then chi-square calculated is equals to 77.78. And the next SAP critical region, the critical region at level of significance 0.05 for right tail test with degree of freedom. 2 from raw. This is from raw, this is from column. 2 rows minus 1, 2 column minus 1 is equals to 1. So there is a chi-square greater than chi choose of level, and this is 1 represented by degree of freedom. Okay, is equals to 3.841. ये आपके पास कैसे आया? ये आपके पास टेबल से आएगा. This value comes from your table. Okay, here your table, chi-square table. Okay, आपके पास degree of freedom value 1, level of significance 0.05. So here's the value 3.841. Okay, okay, so you have a value 3.841. Now you have to see this value falls in accepted region or critical region. Okay, so conclusion, since calculated value chi-square falls in critical region, okay, therefore we reject H0 and conclude that the income and type of schools are dependent. Okay, I hope you understand that concept with example. Thanks for watching.